So, the topic of today's post is how God appeals to our emotions to bring healing, or through dreams, God appeals to our emotions to bring healing. And I'd like to give you a non dream introduction. Okay, so I am a little bit dramatic, as you may have guessed, but I'm probably more dramatic than you think. And anyhow, in my dramaticness, I can't remember what it was. I wanted to let my sons know what it was like. I think this was years ago, so I'm not entirely sure. I wanted to let my sons know what it was like to have the opportunity to tell someone about Jesus and then have the opportunity that they're saved and go to heaven and have God with them for the rest of their life on earth. But versus if you're just like, I don't want to tell them, so I'm not going to. And I'm not trying to condemn anyone that has had the opportunity and just passed it by, because I've done that a bazillion times and I'm not proud of it, but I've done it. So anyhow, so I told my sons that I was like, okay, my oldest son, Avery, I was like, imagine that you were driving the vehicle and you were backing out of the driveway and you didn't know that your brother was behind you, behind the car, and and you drove over him. I was like, and you get out because you feel a bump and you realize, and they couldn't drive. I'm not sure why I used that scenario, but it worked. And I was like, and you got out because you felt a bump and you see it's your brother that's dead. And I was like, and nothing you can do will bring him back to life. And I said, you can scream and yell all you want, but you can't bring him back to life. And I was like, imagine that feeling. Like you feel so terrible and you just feel like you're at a loss and you're never going to be able to fix it. And I think I might have even made him cry because I really wanted him to get it. And that might be a really mean mom thing to do in most people's or some people's view, but it wasn't in mine. And I'm sure some people would agree that there's no way to get across a point than to get someone's emotions, even if it's a little bit mean, to get someone's emotions and really get them there. It's not like I told him his brother had died and he was like distraught. I just said, imagine if that feeling, and I got him to imagine until it wasn't just that like, oh yeah, okay, that would suck. That really heart-wrenching feeling, imagining that feeling. So anyhow, take that to dreams. I have dreams often after I go to bed mad at my husband. Sometimes other people, but most often my husband. And I you can comment if you want, but I know that you're not supposed to go to bed angry, or I've heard that before, that interpretation, or whether that's an even right interpretation, which is kind of debatable. But anyhow, that's not the issue here. I went to bed mad at my husband, and in going to bed mad at my husband, I'd be like, I don't even want to, touch him, and I'm mad at him and whatever. And so in going to bed mad, I've had a dream. I've had these dreams usually that my husband knows, I think, that I'm his wife and he doesn't want me at all. And he's just like, okay, I'm walking away. Sometimes there's another person involved. Like he goes to someone else and I'm just like, it's supposed to be me. Or sometimes he just goes on having a fun time, and I'm like, what are you doing without me? And in my dream I feel like my heart is gone, like half of me is gone. Like I'm not implying that you need a marriage to be complete, because even as with a marriage, you're definitely not complete. You need God to complete you, and that's in heaven. We can't even get to that on earth. And I mean, we can try, but we can never fully get to that, I don't think. And even anyhow, that's getting off topic. But so I feel so horrible in these dreams, and I feel like my life is over. And I wake up, and usually when I wake up, my husband's laying there. And sometimes when I wake up in the middle of the night, if I'm kind of lost, because you know how sometimes you wake up and you're just like, what's up? And so anyway, I wake up and I just see my husband, and I'm like, I kind of have a feeling, was that dream real? Like, does he actually not want me? Did he actually say those things in real life? And I'm like, I usually come to grips with that's not the fact. More when I started having these dreams occasionally, I would be way more confused. But now I'm like, okay, no, of course he didn't say that. That was a dream. But I feel terrible, and I just, whatever I was mad about doesn't matter at all. I just want to put my arms around my husband and be like, come here, and I never want to get away from you. And often I tell him, I'll wake him up or whatever, or when he wakes up, I'll tell him, oh, I love you so much. And sometimes I say, I'm sorry for yesterday. And sometimes I won't even mention yesterday. I'm really like, I love you so much. And God is appealing to your emotions through that dream, because he could tell you, or someone could tell you, or you could read the Bible and it could tell you that, and believe me, I'm not saying dreams are more important than the Bible. That's not what I'm getting at. It's the inspired word of God. But anyhow, someone could tell you, oh, don't be mad at your husband. Everyone makes mistakes, or whatever mistake he might not have made, but in your mind, or however he hurt your feelings, whatever. And everyone makes mistakes, but that would be like that surface level at first. Like that would be like hearing, oh, you drove over your brother. How would you feel? I guess I'd feel crappy. That'd be really bad. Like not much worse than that. But when you go deeper, it's just like, when you really imagine it, oh, the feeling is so horrid. And of course that can apply to good feelings too, but that feeling is so horrid. And it's like, I'm wrong. I will take the blame, whatever I can do to make this right, even if nothing's really wrong except for in your own head. I'm like, so God appeals to our emotions like that. He doesn't just wait for us he doesn't get to our reason. And of course we need to have reason, but he doesn't just appeal to us through our reason, because that's not what brings about forgiveness anywhere near as much as appealing to our emotions. God is with us on every single level, and he appeals to us because we're people. He doesn't say, I should reason with you and you should get it because I'm God and you're a person and this is how I made things. He cares about us, and he will go to you where you are. And that dreams, don't dismiss that whenever you're like, why did I dream about my spouse? I'm mad at them. Well, that's why you dreamt about your spouse, or that's why you dreamt about your relationship or whatever. And so that is a gift from God, and let's embrace it.